It can be so hard to choose to be positive when the world can be so cruel, so challenging. It's really hard to remind yourself to lean into love when so many other things need your attention. Thinking about parenthood. Parenthood can be so overwhelming on its easiest days, and it can be words that I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say on this network on its very worst days. My husband and I, we have 3 kids, but before that, we had two kids, 2 full-time jobs. Then we decided to add a 3rd child. And at that time, our biggest concern wasn't space. I mean, it should have been. Our apartment was ridiculously tiny. One of our children slept in a drawer. It wasn't even money. And again, it should have been. Kids are ungodly expensive. It was actually love. We were so worried that we would be depriving our children from attention and love by focusing on someone else. Plus, the average number of kids per American family is 2. And who are we to say that we're above average? But in the end, we realized something that I think a lot of people in this situation realize. Hearts can expand and accommodate. There's always more love to go around. If you are able to do so, always choose love. I thought about this a lot after having a conversation with our next guest. This is Choice Words. I'm Samantha Bee. My guest today is the super thoughtful and charming Karamo Brown. You love him from Queer Eye and his talk show, Karamo, and I got to talk to him about choosing love, choosing forgiveness, and choosing fatherhood. He tells himself every day that there is an abundance of love out there, and I absolutely love that. And good news, my live tour, Your Favorite Woman, The Joy of Sex Education, is heading back on the road, kicking things off in Connecticut, New York, and Wisconsin before hitting California, Canada, lots of places in between. Go to samanthab.com for dates and tickets. Until then, take a listen and make good choices. Karamo, I am so excited to see you again. Oh,
I know it's been way too long.
it has been way too long. And here you are.
Yes.
No, I know that realize that no one can see us right now, but you are in your studio for Karamo, right? Are
Yeah,
you?
yeah, I am. It feels nice to be here.
Oh, it
Yes.
must feel so nice. It's incredible what you're doing. You
Well,
was,
you know this process. Like you know
I
what it is.
do.
It's like you just to be able to like be in somewhere and to have a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of control and to be like
Yes.
making sure your voice is heard. It feels nice.
Oh, that is a good feeling.
Yes.
Okay, we have so much. We have so much to talk about today. But one of
Yes.
the things I want to ask you about before as we launch into this, because this podcast is about choice and choices that we've made in our lives, and big choices and small choices, and something, things that reverberate through your life that
Mm,
maybe didn't even seem like big decisions at the time, but actually were so impactful. So I want to talk
mhm.
to you first about your relationship to choice. What kind of a decision maker are you?
I'm very decisive.
I was just going to say, you
Very,
seem like a very decisive. The sharp
very
lines of
decisive.
your blazer are
The beard, it just
communicating.
tells you sharp lines. This is what it is. We're doing this and that.
Hmm.
But that decisiveness, even within that, has evolved
Oh, really?
because I realized that early on, my decisiveness was a protection that I had. It
Oh,
was me being able to cut things off very quickly to say, I'm not going right, I'm going left,
okay.
because I lived in a sort of fear-based place
Okay.
majority of my life as a child who didn't have a lot of stability.
Hmm.
There was always an underlining of fear,
Ah,
and decisiveness gave me the illusion of control. And yeah, it made me feel like, okay, I'm controlling my life. So I don't have to ever feel insecure or unsecure again because I've just made a decision. Instead of realizing that sometimes the decisiveness was an illusion
ow.
and I really didn't have control. I was making a choice because I thought this is what would make me feel safe. And I realize now that though I'm decisive,
Hmm.
there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of understanding of like, okay, how does this affect me? How is this affecting? I ask this question to myself always. Sorry, and not to go
Yeah.
too deep, but
No, 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 no. This is so interesting.
I ask myself, and I do this all the time. I ask
Yeah.
myself, how would baby Karamo, how would teenage Karamo, and how is Karamo now all going to relate to this decisive decision?
Really?
Because baby me wanted to be loved and protected.
Yeah.
Teenage me was rebellious and wanted to fight back. And
Okay.
present me is older and wants peace. And decisive decisions have to be able to make sure that they're aligning and healing and giving to all three of those versions of me, because all three of those versions of me live in me. And so my decisiveness is not the wall
Right.
and illusion of control that it was before. It's now a thoughtful decisiveness.
I feel like I relate to that in a way. Like, I feel like there's something about, when you're going through, when there's trauma in your life, there's something about cutting people out of your life, cutting people out of your heart, and you have to do it.
Yes.
Like excising a tumor or something like that. You just have to make a move.
Yes, yes, but it's that it's that illusion of
Hmm.
fake security. It's
Right.
the fake control, and I didn't want to do that anymore.
Right.
And so, and now I'm just thoughtful about the versions of me that still live in me that need to constantly be healed and loved on, and to be acknowledged, and
Hmm.
how my decisions affect all of us. And it sounds like I'm talking about myself as I have multiple personalities, but it's not.
No.
It's just baby Samantha is still in there. Baby Sam is still in there.
Yeah.
And whatever happened as a kid and whatever happened to teenage Sam is still in there.
Hmm.
And that one wants to fight and kick ass, and she wants to change the world. And adult you is like, I still am gonna be both those people who want love and to
Right.
fight, but I also want some peace and honesty and kindness and clarity. And my decisions align with all three of them.
Everything that you're saying so thoughtfully is what I see. And I'm going to come back to this point, but everything that you're saying right now is what I see in your show.
Aw.
Your patience with people, the way that you speak so tenderly to them as they're in crisis or like trying to make sense of the different versions of themselves or
Yeah.
whatever it is, the trauma that they're experiencing. I feel that mature Karamo coming to like acknowledge the
Mhm.
past,
Yeah.
but also try to like make a path forward.
You're so sweet. I appreciate that. Like, God, honestly, I really appreciate that.
100% true.
Thank you.
100% true. You can see it in every episode.
Thank
You
you.
really can see it. Is there a choice that you can look back on in your life that you think really changed, I guess, changed the trajectory of your life? Maybe in an either in a very expected way or something very unexpected?
I mean, there's two choices that I think really affected me big time, that
Mhm.
were real choices that I know that I made
Yeah.
and that changed directory. One is physical and one is more emotional.
Mhm.
So the emotional one was the day I stopped living in fear-based decision making and more abundance-based decision making,
Okay.
which was big for me because, again, unstable childhood, like
Sure.
things going on, abuse in my household, daddy drinking and smoking too much weed. I thought everything was always going to be taken away.
Right.
And then one day I realized that, like, even if something is taken away, God and the universe and I will still provide. Like, it will still come. I don't have to be fearful that I'll be left out without anything. Like, more will come. Because I deserve it,
Mhm.
and I'm walking in line with truth and honesty, that
Yeah.
I'm going to get more. Like, so if I lose this job, I've never been fearful that I won't get another.
Right.
If I lose this relationship, I'm not fearful that I won't get another, because I no longer live in that fear-based place that I used to live in. And that was a conscious choice that I had to practice, where I'd see myself staying in a relationship that I knew I wasn't supposed to be in. And then I was like, come on, you deserve more than this. And there's an abundance of love out there that you're going to get. And
Right.
I would have to repeat that to myself daily. Karamo, there's an abundance of love out there that you're going to get. And it took away the power from the fear. So that was the one choice that I made that changed the trajectory.
That
And
is
then
really, really good. That's a practice. That is a
practice,
practice that you have to do.
practice. And then when I found out that I was a father,
Mhm.
because my path to fatherhood was a little bit untraditional.
Mhm.
I let people into my sexuality when I was 15,
Mhm.
and I had one best friend who wanted to lose her virginity, but she didn't want to do it with her boyfriend because she didn't want to, he was older and she
Okay.
didn't want to seem like unexperienced.
Mhm.
So she convinced my gay ass to have sex. So- and I was like, why? You know, I'm a homo. And she was like, come on, well, let's try it. And I said, okay, like being an idiot teenager.
Right.
And it lasted all of 1 minute. And then she moved away. And
Mhm.
then 10 years later, she was like, surprise, here's your kid. And and
Wow.
the day that I decided to forgive her so that I
Mhm.
could have a better relationship with her and my son, and then also to take custody of my son, changed that choice, because I was like, I could live in I'm upset at you for not telling me about my kid for 10 years and
Mhm.
what you did to him, what you did to me, and all this stuff. But I was
Yeah.
like, I forgive you. I forgive you. This is a choice, and I want to get closer with you. And then also, I'm making a choice to take custody of my son
Right.
because I missed so many years and I don't want to miss another one. And both choices deeply impacted my life.
Oh, deeply. That is a
Deeply.
huge choice.
Yeah.
That is like a very that's like a that is next level forgiveness.
Girl.
And
Girl.
that is a practice too. Like that is something is so
Yeah.
intentional
Yeah.
and so healing for you, so healthy for you to be able to do that, but not that's not easy.
It wasn't. And to be honest with you, at the moment, I didn't know that I was doing it for me.
Mm,
I was doing it for baby Karamo,
right?
who saw himself in my son, who
Right.
saw he's gonna have issues about his father and not being
Right.
there, and issues of like his parents not getting along. And so I was like, well, I don't want him to do what I did. So I'm gonna forgive you for him. I got
Right.
it. I'm gonna forgive you for him.
Right.
And then later on, when I got older, I was like, oh, that decision was really for my baby me. I wanted somebody to make that decision for me. I wanted the adults in my life to make better choices for me because I didn't ask to be here and I wanted that. And so I made the better choice for him because no one made it for me. And it was for him for the long time because she would piss me off. So
Right.
we have a lot of different choice makings. Even to
Yeah.
this day, I love her to death. But I would, every time that would happen, I would make the choice to be thoughtful, intentional, and forgiving
Mhm.
because I wanted him to see better. And
You
it worked.
it worked. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And what a gift for him to be chosen. Do you know what I mean? To be
Mhm.
so intentionally I mean, chosen, really.
Yeah. 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 I see the adult that he's become and how adjusted he is.
Mhm.
And I know it was that. He went from feeling alone, feeling distant,
Right.
feeling like isolated, feeling like things are going to always be in confusion
Mhm.
to, oh, people are choosing to be better for me and I'm
Right.
priority. And I see how he responds to life now. And I'm like, thank God.
Thank God you did that. Thank for you and
Yeah.
for him and for your whole entire family.
Right.
That kind of limitless love
But
is
I didn't know in the moment. I
no,
gotta
no,
tell you,
no, of
I don't want to sit
course.
here and be like I was some guru. In the moment, it
No,
was
no, no,
like
no, no.
gritting my teeth and being like, "Oh, this better pay
This
off one day
is
because I'm so, you know."
Have your career choices changed a lot since you became a parent? How have you navigated that world? Because your career has exploded, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I believe in there's a bigger and diviner plan that
Mhm.
I'm like, I always knew I wanted kids. Like when I was in college, I was like,
Yeah.
I want a husband, I want kids,
Yeah.
and these things. Like I was very traditional. I still am very traditional. I still want marriage and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not for everybody for me. But I was like, the universe, God had a bigger plan because if I would have tried now, I wouldn't have been, like, being able to have my son, like, my son is 26 now,
Wow.
which gave me the ability to now like, I'm still young. I'm
Right.
42.
Yeah.
That, like, now I'm like able to travel and do my career. And as you know, these careers are demanding that I'm like,
Hmm.
if I had a toddler on my shoulder,
Right.
I couldn't do it. And well, I could, as many people do, but there'd be so much guilt that I'd have to be working
Right.
through and things that I'd have to be figuring out. Where now I'm like, okay,
He can
I'm
kind of
able to
go on that
give.
journey with you a little bit. Like you are.
He's on it. Yeah, he comes with me where we do stuff together because he's 26. So it's
Right.
like, about to be 27, and I'm like, oh, this works. This works.
Want to listen to the rest of this episode? Head over to your favorite podcast player to hear the entire show. I highly recommend it.